Hi. Today I want to talk about why most brand strategies are just words, words, words. Because that's what they are. And I'm talking about global multinationals that will give you 5 to 6 pages about what to communicate to the market. Guys, that is not a brand strategy. A brand strategy should actually be a very, very simple document. The way in which you can, however, do a simple document is only if you've done a huge amount of upfront thinking and data analysis, understanding, insights, research, competitive reviews, review your product, the capabilities of this product vis-a-vis another product. And once you have that kind of understanding, you are able to define very simply a brand strategy. The longer your brand strategy, the more it's a matter if you just haven't thought about it. So you just start adding words. Guys, and I'm not saying this with ease and with comfort, because I've seen this so many times, that we add words and words and words and words. In a similar way that clients will look at the advertising copy and say, I want to also say that, I want to also say that. It fundamentally undermines the principle of good communication, because the principle of good communication is very simple. A brilliant idea that tells me something novel or interesting about your brand. And that's the only job a brand strategy has. Because if it can tell me that, it is easy for me to translate it to suppliers. It's easy to tell the staff how to behave when they meet a customer. In other words, what we today term on-brand behavior. It's easy for the manufacturing process and the production director to know how the product must look and what it must achieve and what the quality standard is that he must apply. It's easy for us to decide how the brand must look in the trade and how must it be presented in the trade. It's easy for us to look at the areas of innovation and decide where are we going to grow the brand from now. Because remember, you only retain leadership through innovation. It's the only way a leading brand remains a leading brand. So when you look at all of those factors, the clearer and the simpler we can define a brand, the better. The longer our documents, the more complicated they are, all it tells me is we haven't thought about it. If you look at Professor Gary Hamel, who was, I think, by the New York Times noted as one of the 100 biggest thinkers in the world today in business, he makes the point that a strategy, and a clear strategy, albeit at a higher level in his instance, but a clear strategy is probably the intellectually most challenging thing you can do. Because what you really need to do is to interpret an enormous variety of streams and ultimately decide what is the essence of what I'm trying to communicate here. What is the 2-3 words that will summarize and define what I'm trying to tell people? Guys, that is absolutely fundamental. So if you ever get presented with documents, whether it's your own staff, whether outside, whether it's a supplier, that's too wordy, the reality is somebody did not think about the job properly. There is a wonderful commercial for Lexus, that was a UK commercial some years ago, that I think in a way encapsulates the thought process for me. It's a little kid sitting in the kid seat on the back seat of a car in a Lexus, and his mom is in the front seat. And the mom drives and she says, you know, what sound does a motorcycle make? And the little boy then tells her what sound a motorcycle makes. She says, what sound does an aeroplane make? And he then tells her what sound an aeroplane makes. And then she asks him, what sound does a motor car make? And he just looks at her, because Lexus doesn't make a sound. And that's the principle of what they were trying to communicate. So the only word about Lexus that was important is the vehicle is quiet. Now, how many strategies that have you ever seen in your business, in your agency, that is as simple as that? The only thing we're trying to communicate is how quiet a Lexus is. So the only word that matters is Lexus is quiet, nothing else. But to do that, there is an enormous amount of thinking that has to go into it.